talking franchises here, bud.
Hey, we're here because of Tim.
My God.
There's Tim. Explain yourself. Well, look, no, Tim. I'm sorry. It's a Spy Kids movie. We did cover the Spy Kids franchise. We watched 4 of these. Why not watch this new one? But like, how is this a movie? Tim, explain, Robert.
If you're gonna blame me for anything, I think that the actual blame is on who's the patron who paid $100 for you guys to cover the Spy Kids and specifically requested that I be a guest on.
Is that really what happened?
That's why I was on the Spy Kids. I never felt any camaraderie or anything with the Spy Kids franchise. I think it was just like we were in the midst of We Love Kids movies, and
right.
Whoever I assumed you would have remembered who paid the $100, but I don't. And shout out to whoever that was. But
let's say Legal Cum Dams. Remember that person?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
Josh. That's Josh. He just goes by Josh now.
Josh Merlis?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, Legal Cum Dams is cool. Josh. Okay. Logan's here too, by the way. He didn't get introduced.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I have to defend Robert Rodriguez. Well, let me just tell you this 100%. This does not feel like a Spy Kids movie. Like,
I'll tell you what it feels like.
Yes, it does.
It feels like We Can Be Heroes. That's the one it feels like.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, We Can Be Heroes is so much better than this
I agree.
film. Like,
I don't agree.
We Can Be Heroes. There's just like so much more life and zaniness to Robert Rodriguez's
Remember little shark kid eating everything?
Yeah. Her name's Guppy. She was Shark Boy and Lava Girl's daughter, and she had more of it. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no it in this movie.
I thought the girl
there really
was okay.
isn't.
The girl was better than the boy.
Get out of here.
The girl was. She was.
I don't even want to review this movie because, like, what it's going to come down to is like find cuter kids who can act.
I mean,
I agree,
that was
but
what
we're judging it for what it is. I think the girl is better than the boy.
Well,
I think they're both terrible. They're both terrible. The girl has more to do than the boy in the movie, but like, oh, I remember what my review is going to be.
I mean, the boy fights Billy Magnuson at the end. That's pretty big.
Billy Magnuson. He's the only possible MVP in this whole movie. Like, it is how are there this many LVPs? Like, everyone in this movie.
Honestly, I didn't put any
sucks.
thought into that at all.
Yeah, I was like, Billy Magnuson's the only good part, and he's just trying to be big, which is like what these fucking movies need to be. If you think about the 4 other Spy Kid movies, they're all just like wacky bullshit. There's 3D flying at the screen. The third one had smell vision in it as well.
Did you experience that?
No. Well, I was working at the movie theater during Spy Kids 3D Game Over. And I got one of those smell cards, so I smelled the 5 smells that they gave you.
You probably smelled it a lot, just for fun.
What?
It wasn't just like a test; like you enjoyed it and you would do it all the time.
You think I just kept smelling popcorn and soap and
the bad smell, like garbage and farts? You like those?
Yeah, it was you got me, nailed it, got me. I'm a big smell.
But like, did you notice the shout outs to the old movie? I noticed at one point they say, "We don't have all the time in the world."
I noticed that one too.
I kind of
What the fuck was that?
It was kind of cool.
But who pops for the title of a movie?
Me. We did for Insidious, remember? She says
no, but that's the title of the movie you're watching. Like, that would be crazy if, like, James Bond was like, you only live twice.
I have like, no we're like, time
oh, he
to
said
die.
That was wild.
I think you're lying. I think people would like that.
But I'm saying, like, now, if he said it,
this is no Quantum of Solace.
Oh,
he said it.
Yeah. Well, they say Armageddon so many times in this movie.
Well, because that's the name of the MacGuffin.
The fucking stupid. Oh my gosh, this movie, like, it's a reboot of Spy Kids, I guess. It's not even like a sequel because none of the stuff that
Yeah,
exists in
I
the other 4 films
that
exists. Like,
drove me insane.
uh,
Because I like the little weird Spy Kids mythology that was built up. Like those movies are bad, but like they did a good job with that sort of thing.
it,
And
it's so frustrating that we see the OSS, right? Like, that's the
yeah,
same
that's what I
name,
mean. Like
and
it's the
and
same company that, and I kept expecting stuff about the OSS to come out. And but then at the end, when they finally hire the kids, it feels like this is the first kids they've ever hired. And
yeah,
I'm like, that is untrue because what an amazing legacy of Spy Kids the OSS has.
yeah, and also, like, I like 15 minutes into this movie when I was like, this is bullshit. I'm going to spoil myself as much as possible. I went and looked at the cast, and it was like, there's no Cheech Marin, there's no Machete in this movie. There is
Yeah.
no, like, the big one I was like hoping for is like, okay, Mike Judd better come back. Mike
Judge.
Judge. I don't know why I do this. Mike, because I'm an idiot. That's why. Mike Judge was the head of the OSS in all the movies. I think he has a heel turn in like the last one, but put fucking Mike Judge back in this movie. Like, what is Robert Rodriguez doing? And I really think he either half-assed this, the most half-assed he's ever, or I am concerned with Racer
Racer
Rodriguez.
Max?
Yeah, I'm concerned
He
because
doesn't go by Rodriguez, I noticed. The,
oh,
no,
really?
yeah, in the credits,
noticed
it
that
was
too.
written by Robert Rodriguez and Racer Max.
Oh, that's because he doesn't want to be called a nepo baby. But meanwhile,
Except he only ever works on his dad's movies.
yeah, he also wrote "We Can Be Heroes," which I would argue lives in the Rodriguez um, kids movie universe, where it's like all 3D green screen and it's wacky and there's like just the craziest stuff. This movie really doesn't get um like to the zany level until they go into that video game, and then it fucking sucks. Everything's just dark and brown and nothing looks good. By the way, there were a couple other Spy Kid references to the other movies that I'm not sure if you caught, Logan, but when the one main character kid, like Tony, I think his main character is Tony, when he's fighting the king at the end.
I noticed that because they kept calling him Antonio, and you can't do that when Antonio Banderas was the dad, and he's not even in this movie at all. It
Like,
was too distracting.
if you're rebooting it, just rename them Junie and
Manny.
well, no, Junie was the boy, and then Carmen was the girl.
Right.
Like, why make them these two new kids? And you're not even gonna have them cameo. Like bring in Vega back. Like, what's she doing?
Yeah, how is the way forward for this franchise not the kids of the Spy Kids?
Right? That would be amazing if like they canonically have the two brother and sister get married and it's their own kids.
Oh my
that are
God.
the Spy Kids.
That is horrific.
Well, we know that
I looked up Alexa Vega. You want to know what she's doing?
Yeah,
please
she been
tell
on
us.
like a Dancing with the Stars or something.
Sleepover 2.
Lots of Hallmark Channel movies.
Well, good for her. I'm happy
Yeah.
she's working.
She's working plenty.
That the guy isn't, because he's all about that bass, right? Like, he doesn't have to ever work again.
What?
He's married to Megan Trainor.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he's all about
his
that
most
bass.
recent work as an actor was in a Megan Trainor music video.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has like a new song that came out within the last couple years where she like mentions like nobody fucks like her husband does.
Oh, she came out in an interview and said that she is so sore because his dick's so huge.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to finish my point. There's a reference to Spy Kids 3D, Game Over, when he's fighting the king and his health bar goes from 0 to or goes from 1 to 0.5. That happened in Spy Kids 3D, of course,
Wow.
as well. Also, when they're trying to get into the stupid layer of their parents, they have to use their full name
Oh
because they're
yeah, I liked that
Latinx
moment.
kids. Well, that is literally in the first movie. That's what they have to do.
Oh, I probably liked it in the first movie.
Yeah,
too.
that's because it's like the only good joke in this whole movie. Everything else is so fucking stupid, and it's like you should tell the truth.
I remember the original Spy Kids doing that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
what's her name? Vega is like Anissa Cortez, the blah 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 blah. She names
Yeah.
all her names, right?
She had
Like,
it.
well, no, she didn't have it. She was close to it. The friggin' Lava Girl has it.
Yeah. Mackenzie Vega was it adjacent.
Yeah, she's like reaching there, and then Rodriguez perfected it in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. By the way, the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I can't believe I am missing like the elements from Shark Boy and Lava Girl that are like Planet Drool, Taylor Lautner singing the Dream song, Mr. Electra Adad. Like, why couldn't the bad guys be cool like that? Right? Like, I feel like Racer Max is fully like lost his imagination in childhood. I think I have always had the theory that Robert Rodriguez's kids write most of these movies or like tell him stories, and he just like turns them into the kids' movies, especially with shorts, especially with
I
Shark
think they
Boy and
sit
Lava
at
Girl.
a table and he's got a pen and paper and they orate and he like sort of translates.
I recently watched Spy Kids 1 with my kids again, and I really think they sit at the breakfast table and they all talk about their dreams, because there's an element of dreaming in the first Spy Kids. Of course, Shark Boy and Lava Girl is all about dreams. And so is Shorts. So I think that it's like, oh, I'm just gonna write down your freaking dreams and we'll make a movie. Cause like you gotta think about like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, those are like the least interesting names for superheroes, and it feels like a 6-year-old child could come up with, yeah, and then Shark Boy, he became a shark, and then Lava Girl has lava, like those elements. So
there was a wrestler in the 90s named Shark Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was his finisher?
Probably something shark
dorsal.
I remember sometimes he'd bite you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
No problem.
In WWF or WWE?
He was in WCW, and then
nice.
And then he moved over to TNA when they folded.
And how did he die?
He's still alive, guys.
Whoa! Wow!
Shark
wow.
Boy.
Yeah, he was always billed as from 20,000 leagues under the sea.
That's cool. That's cool. That's pretty good.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Look at this. I just looked up Shark Boy, the wrestler, on Wikipedia. And evidently in 2005, he sued Miramax.
Oh.
Wow.
For Shark Boy and Lava Girl in 3D. All right.
That's too bad. I bet he lost, unfortunately.
No, the suit was settled for an undisclosed amount.
Whoa. That's crazy.
How about that?
It would have been insane if, like, his backstory, he was billed from Planet Drool, and
that's very funny.
Yeah. So,
speaking of wrestling, Billy Magnuson, I couldn't help but notice that his character's name is Ray Kingston, which has to be a mix of Rey Mysterio and Kofi Kingston.
Kingston could be, yeah.
What
that also has to be Racer Max's two favorite wrestlers.
You have to also think that the King, of course, is the wrestler from Ready to Rumble, the wrestling movie. Also, Jerry Lawler, right?
I very much enjoyed that reference.
Logan hasn't seen that movie.
Jimmy King.
Yeah, Jimmy King. I think one of us should assign Logan Ready to Rumble next week.
Logan's gotta watch it. Logan would love it. I feel like Ready to Rumble. Well, especially because we're doing this new podcast about wrestling, and we're gonna be talking about WCW. I feel like that movie might give Logan
I'll
a
watch
greater fondness for WCW.
All right.
You get to see them all act with David Arquette and Scott Conn.
Oh, I think I've heard
How
like
often
a reference
are you
to
guys
that
doing
once,
that
like
podcast?
they say a diamond. They
I
talk
want
about
to
a
do it.
diamond,
I
yeah.
want to do one a day.
What? We're doing the WWE
It's up
thing
to
one a day?
Logan. I would let Logan do it once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, or once a month. It's
Or once a
completely
day?
up to you. Or once a day.
We'll see. We'll do. We'll start out like
But
once every
coming
2 weeks.
soon, the Sunday Night Wars. Look forward to it. When do you want to record the first one?
Well, I think we're gonna do that next week. I think we were just waiting to do Spy Kids this week, and then do that next week.
All right, so stay tuned next week for the first episode of the Sunday Night Wars. If you're listening to this now, watch what do we say? WrestleMania 1.
I have it somewhere in my notes.
Yeah, fuck. Can you find it?
Yes, I can. Starcade.
Why you look that up?
Starcade, November 1985.
Yeah, that's what you're watching. Starcade 85 and WrestleMania 1 on the
which is also 85.
channel. Yeah.
I love how you brought up that I have turned you down to do this podcast multiple times, Dan. And
that was funny.
Because my ideal version of this podcast is co-hosted by Mr. Tim Allen. And it was one of the greatest disappointments of my life. I felt like I was getting like I asked out a girl and I was really sure she'd say yes, you know. And then it was a no, and it was like I had to go home and like rethink everything.
Are we still going about Shark?
I don't know.
Spy Kids?
Did we lose
at that time?
Tim?
Oh, we lost Tim.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
No,
Hello?
we didn't
cut
hear the
out
last
for a
bunch of
second.
stuff.
Oh, sorry. I cut out. I was gonna say it was an honor to be asked, Dan, but at that point I was stretching to do We Love Kids movies and Comp Beast at the same time, and I just couldn't see myself doing another one without dropping.
Well, now that
show.
you're not doing that stuff, do you want to co-host this with us?
I'd be willing to. Come on, yes. Do I want to do it permanently? I don't know, Dan. I can't. My schedule's hard right now, so I will. I will do
But
it.
it might give you some joy. Your kids have been such disappointments recently.
It'll get him back into wrestling.
Yeah, you might get him back into wrestling.
Yeah,
show some early Hulk Hogan.
The problem, though, I think the biggest thing I'm most nervous about this podcast for is, Logan, have you realized the amount of viewing you have to do for one episode of this?
Yeah.
No.
It's like 5 to 6 hours worth of work to be able to record a podcast.
That's why I'm taking 0 notes.
That's okay. I'll take the notes.
No, I mean, I'll probably take some notes. But
especially you're gonna reach a point where WrestleMania is 2 days.
That's not for a very, very long time.
I can watch the promos on like 1.5 speed.
You watch all of them on 1.5 speed and get to see WrestleMania 1. Is that like who's the main card, Dan?
It's like Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper.
It's gonna be good.
Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
This Spy Kids fucking suck, guys.
And Roddy Piper's in the main event too. But like Andre the Giant's there's some good shit. Logan loves Greg the Hammer Valentine from our.
No, that's true. From the Rumble.
Yeah,
podcast.
Exactly.
Why do I love him?
I don't know. For some reason, you really,
Yeah, every time he came up, you were like pop for him.
Okay, yeah. Greg Valentine.
You glommed onto him.
Wow, that's crazy.
By the way, in the Final Destination 5 episode, neither of you brought up probably the best moment of the whole movie was when they're on the bus going to the bridge and we see a lumber truck drive by.
Did we not mention that?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't mention that.
I thought we mentioned all the references.
That came up. That came up. That 100% came up.
Oh, well, then I guess I just zoned out at that moment because I was listening specifically for it. So Logan probably cut it out because it was too good. He was too upset.
I didn't
But
cut anything
then,
out.
yeah,
Only
All
added
right, well-
sound effects.
yeah, that's good. Can you
Are we
add
done?
like
Can we? Are we talking about the parents, Zachary
slide
Levi?
whistle?
Oh,
Oh,
Zachary Levi.
why did they hire two like minorly canceled
Yeah, that was weird.
celebrities for the parents? Like, is this a whole
It's
budget
true.
movie? Yeah,
It's true, man. Like the timing of this premiering, Netflix must have been like, please nobody ask them about Israel. Please
Yeah,
nobody ask them about Israel. These two dumb dumbs. You know, I loved Chuck back in the day,
The same.
Mhm.
but
Yeah, he was a spy.
he
Yeah,
was
that's
a
true.
fucking spy. But I read a review of something Zachary Levi was in recently, and the review was that he was as annoying as Ryan Reynolds, but with none of the charisma.
That's good.
And I was like, that's too good.
Is.
That does sound like him.
That's a perfect description of him, which is
Yeah.
sad. I used to really like him, but I can't disagree.
Yeah.
Do you think that he had them put the gray in his temples because he's like, I'm low key gonna use this as my audition for
Reed Richards? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Yeah, he's like,
No,
I'd
I
be
think he has gray in his temples anyway now.
I think so too. I think I can imagine that. Or maybe he did. That's just the way he rocks his hair. So that's his audition for Reed Richards. Just in life, he just wants people to see him and be like, Reed Richards.
He's probably my favorite like MCU character of all time. Is when he
Reed Richards?
No, not Reed Richards. Zachary Levi plays one of the Heroes 3 in Thor.
Oh, Fandral.
Yeah, and he takes over for an actor.
Sorry, I'm reading a lot of Stan Lee Thor right now.
I wouldn't. I'm like, he's the Robin Hood one. I would not, I don't know any of their names.
Yeah. You mean Fandral, Hogan, and Volstagg?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He takes over for an actor. He replaces it only to be murdered by Hela in Ragnarok. And like he has a death where like he gets killed and he like looks directly in the camera and like gives a like, why me? And then dies.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
And I always felt
Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's in Ragnarok. I always felt that they killed him because he was going to be Shazam in DC. And I was like, okay, like they just are getting rid of him because he was the character in Dark World, Logan's second favorite MCU property, because of course he cried at Guardians of Galaxy 3 this year.
That's your favorite thing. You love that.
Yeah, I don't know why. It
really
does
stuck
seem like
that
you're
really-
like bullying him for being like a pussy or something.
No, it's just so funny because he had Guardians of the Galaxy 3 like as his number one movie for over half of the year.
It was the best one that came out.
And I'm going to tell you, go back and rewatch that.
That's not true.
movie.
Bo is
It
Afraid
doesn't
has
hold
been
up.
my number
Oh,
one.
fuck off. That movie's good.
Bo is
Fucking-
Afraid has been my number one until Mission Impossible came out.
I don't know. Did Bo is Afraid have a raccoon, a CGI raccoon who hugged an otter who had no
All right,
arms?
move on.
in the bus station where Harry met Dumbledore after he
Move
died.
on. No, Adam Parker
Oh, Logan's
Posey,
about to
though.
cry. Yeah, pretty good. And then Peter Quill will return. Who cares?
Fucking
We are
Peter.
Groot. Oh, Logan's talked about how Groot is talked in English a whole bunch too. That's another element of the movie he's been fascinated with.
What he said, I love you guys at the end.
Yeah, when he's like, I love you guys.
That's a great part. Come on.
So fucking, and then
I
there's
don't know
a
what's funny.
dog. There's like a Russian dog.
I
and
love
he's like,
that dog. That's from the
oh,
comic.
you're a good dog. Well, I know. Of
Oh, that's a
Cosmo.
great bit throughout that movie. I love that with Sean.
Oh
Gunn.
yeah, Sean Gunn. We need a story for Sean Gunn's character.
Oh,
It's
fuck
cute.
off. No. You can't just say everything incredulously and make it bad. Like,
Yeah.
everything you're saying was good.
Oh yeah, we gotta go in the water in Jaws. What's that about?
Oh yeah, they're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah. Oh, and then this fucking fat guy makes him an offer that he can't refuse.
Yeah.
This might just be the start of a beautiful relationship.
Oh, yeah,
I
and then
forget
the
line.
fucking
Friendship.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
then
thought.
the fucking sled is named Rosebud.
It's a good bit.
It's a good-
Just everything great. You just say it like it sucks.
And then
Anyway.
it turns out he is the mother the whole time, and he was real psycho.
And then it turns out fucking this idiot is like, I mean, he's Luke's father.
Come on.
Oh, we don't have to talk about Star Wars, guys. I don't ever want to talk about Star Wars. Let's
Van
not talk about it.
Helsing killed
But-
Kate Beckinsale. Come on.
You know who is great? Ray. Ray Skywalker, my favorite.
yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to
Oh,
talk about some Star Wars.
I like
Ray
Ray Skywalker.
Ray Skywalker. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like.
Oh, you mean that
I like
moment,
in
that
Rise of.
moment.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you talking about Rise of Skywalker. It's so
I like
easy.
Let's not.
It's
I
so
I
fucking
like in
easy.
Rise of Skywalker.
They fly
I like
now.
in Rise of Skywalker when the lady, they find out is great, and then somehow Palpatine returned again.
Chewbacca
but,
fake died.
I love when the lady's like, "What's your name?" and she says Ray, and then she's like, "Just Ray," and it's like, you fucking live in a Star Wars. Does anyone ask Chewbacca what his last name
Yeah,
is?
that was such
No!
a weird moment.
Fucking bullshit, J.J. Abrams, suck my ass.
Wow.
Tim's thing is he'll describe good things as though they're bad and make them bad. And also, if one decent artist makes one bad movie, they're dead to him forever.
What's the best JJ
that's
thing
true.
though?
Felicity.
Lost.
Lost is a Damon Lindelof thing, let's be honest.
I mean, but that's his best thing. I've never seen Felicity though, so
Alias.
Dan could be correct. I like Alias a lot.
No, I mean, in terms of movies, it's probably that first Star Trek, right?
Yeah, that one's good. I like that one, but like Star Trek people hate that one.
That's not true. Star Trek people have come around on that shit.
Maybe because the next ones were so bad. Like the Spock one was
People liked the
horrible,
third
and
one,
JJ
I
made,
No, people
JJ
like the third
JJ
one.
made
The
the
only
second
one they
one.
don't like is
The
the
second
second
one,
one.
yeah, and JJ made that one. and
But
that's
then they like the third one. Oh, he didn't
the
make
third
that
one's all
one.
about like. No, he didn't make that one because the second one was so bad they kicked him off the franchise.
He didn't
Sounds
kick him
familiar.
off the franchise. He had moved on to the wars.
What has he made since the wars?
I don't
Nothing,
think
because
anything.
he killed his career.
He could probably do something.
mean,
if he wanted.
Yeah, he should do something smaller.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Why are we
Like,
talking about this?
Because
There's nothing else to
fucking
talk
Spy
about.
Kids Armageddon sucks ass.
No,
man.
there's
Like,
so much to talk about. What about that little guy who's like, man, I'm like a video game boss?
what little guy? The Heck Knight? Are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh, I like
Yeah.
Heck Knight. That's a pretty cute
Heck
name.
Knight. By the way, the whole time I'm like, oh, did they actually get someone who to voice Heck Knight? Because I thought it was Brad Garrett for half the time. But
You
it
love Brad
wasn't.
Garrett, don't you, Daniel?
It's the guy.
You mean, yeah, Las Vegas is Brad Garrett.
That's your favorite
Yeah,
thing.
Dan hangs out at the Brad Garrett room in whatever hotel.
I'm always at the Brad Garrett Comedy Club on nights that I'm not at the John Lovitz Comedy Club.
Wow, you're just hanging out like crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Part of the scene.
Yeah, and then the other times you hang out at the Toby Keith's I Love This bar, right?
What's that?
It's a Toby Keith themed bar.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he
That's
have the red
funny.
Solo cup? Is that him too?
Yeah, it's a red solo cup. I'll drink you up. Let's have a
Oh.
party.
I thought that was the Street Profits.
That too.
But no, I've been to Cabo Wabo though.
That's good.
Yeah, that's the dude from Van Halen, Sammy Hagar.
Red Rocker. Joe Schilling is the voice of the Heck Knight, and I looked up what he's known for, and he's like an announcer for like MMA and Bellator, and part of his credits are he was on multiple episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh,
so
great.
what is Robert Rodriguez's political leaning?
I feel that I don't want to know.
Because
I mean, you got that guy, Zachary Levi, and Gina Rodriguez. Yeah. Billy Magnuson, I assume, is apolitical. He just chases penguins around his mansion grounds.
Yeah. I wanted to say this too. So my kids were so excited to watch this movie, and then they watched it twice and don't want to. They're like, we want to watch the other Spy Kids instead. We do not want to watch number 5 anymore.
Good for them.
And I was like, good for you guys. But interestingly enough, at the end of the movie, when they show the 2 Spy Kids and like put their actual names up, these 2 Spy Kids have my kids' names.
What?
It's Connor and even crazier, the girl's name is Everly, which is like, yes,
that's incredible. I didn't even notice that.
It's insane. They like watched it. It's like, look, it's our names. I was like, what?
Wait,
that
who's
actually
Everly?
is insane.
Everly is insane. Like Connor, no big deal, right? Like that's and it's spelled the way we spell.
What movie is this?
How was Charlotte feeling? Was she
this
like
is Spy
pissed?
Kids Armageddon, Dan?
You're so
Character named
confused.
Everly? What?
The daughter's name is Everly.
It's Patty.
No, her real name in real life is
Everly
Cardinal.
Oh, their real names are Connor.
Oh, you mean their real name? I thought you meant their
I'm sorry. I was behind the curve on this one.
Yeah,
that's still crazy though. But how was Charlotte pissed off?
Yeah, Charlotte didn't watch this. She's too old. She's like too busy. Like she loves the Hunger Games right now. That's like her main thing. So
that's cool.
She's the only one of your kids that has a chance.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, Charlotte's also the one kid who's like, now pass on seeing Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie. I don't need to go.
She's like, go to see Saw X.
No, this is what Charlotte has asked me. This weekend, she's like, Dad, will you take me to see Five Nights at Freddy's? And I'm like,
amazing. You don't have to take her. It's going to be on streaming.
Well, that's what I told her too. But she's like, because 2 weekends ago, we went and saw The Creator together just because we wanted to go see a movie. Yeah, we wanted to go to see a movie. Everything.
Look at her. She's like interested in like interesting things.
Take her to Killers of the Flower Moon coming out this week.
She saw the trailer for that and was like, "Oh, Mom's not going to let me watch that." I was like, "Probably not. It's rated R." So yeah, we were looking for a movie, and the only thing that like was PG-13 that my wife would allow her to go see was The Creator. So we went and saw that. She liked it a lot and said it was cool. She was like interested in watching Rogue One because she liked The Creator. I was like, that. But I will tell you, Dan, you're gonna turn on Charlotte right now.
I'm ready.
Charlotte's still her number one movie going experience was Avatar 2, The Way of Water, and she calls that like the best movie she's ever seen. So
come on,
I like that.
Look, whatever it is, like for me, it was Jurassic Park. Like whatever gets you into movies is fine.
The best movie theater going experience I ever had was The Last Jedi.
Don't bring up The Last Jedi. No one wants to talk about The Last
Jedi. I'm just saying that was the most fun I ever had watching a movie.
Rain Johnson.
Rain Johnson?
Ryan
Rain Johnson.
Sorry. You got so angry. I said Rain Wilson.
You hate Last Jedi too?
Oh, I hate Last Jedi.
Of course. Come on, this comes up every time I talk to Tim.
And I hate Glass Onion. I can't hate Knives Out. That's good. I was just gonna say he's writing the third detective piece.
What
story? Blanc. Benoit Blanc, okay. The third Benoit Blanc. He's working on it, but it was like one of those pieces where it's like, I'd like to film it, but these actors are still striking. So come on, guys.
Right.
What do you want to say about Spy Kids? I mean, I
have nothing else.
I thought you were going to take us through the plot a little more. I'm a little disappointed.
Sure. Okay.
Like, I don't know why I watched this fucking movie if we're not going to talk about it.
Let's talk about the plot then. Okay. So it starts off And very early on, Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez are spies. They seem to. I think they have decent chemistry, or maybe I just think Gina Rodriguez is hot. Like,
Ah,
I think
I mean,
that's
she is.
probably it. Yeah, she's very hot.
They have okay chemistry. Like they seem to be having fun together. It
I don't
feels like they
know.
probably knew each other before they made the movie, but like the dialogue is so wretched that like it almost just wipes the chemistry out of existence. Because like early on they're talking and it's literally like, you know what day it is? We said we are gonna tell the kids the truth about us. You know that we're spies. I'm like, what the fuck?
I feel like I
What
could make
two
that thing.
spies talk to each other that way? I know we're talking about Spy Kids 5 here, but like, let's come on. Like, there's nothing that bad in any of the. I mean, any of the first two Spy Kids anyway. Everything after that's pretty terrible.
I think of George Lopez telling his daughter that she picks her boogers too much because she sits under the air conditioning and is
George Lopez.
Yeah.
You mean the
Mr.
MVP
of
Blue
Beetle?
Beetle?
Yeah. And I would argue Shark Boy Lava Girl. Although
Electricidad.
No, he's the second MVP. Of course, Lava Girl is my MVP.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to feel about your feelings about Lava Girl.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's just say this. Only Dan gets to make pedophilia jokes. I mean, in the last episode, we of course covered Hubie Hall for Ween or for Hubie for Halloween this year. And Dan brought up, or maybe you didn't bring it up, but in one of the coverages, you brought up how the Harley Quinn 5-year-old girl did make you feel something.
Not something, just kind of gross.
No, it wasn't Logan. Did he make it sound like it was gross?
He said that they were clearly making her do suggestive poses.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah. And then he said, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. And we know how Dan is feeling at that moment.
No,
so you leave Lava Girl alone. I, of course, am thinking of her in We Can Be Heroes when she's an adult woman.
Right.
That's why I'm thinking of her. All right. So they get all their tablets locked up. They can only play electronics from 4 to 6. But the kid Tony, and he's really sneaky. And the girl likes to tell the truth. Patty wants to tell the truth.
Yeah, she was just using it for school.
Yep. Do you know that they hyphenated their last name? So their last name is Tango Torres, and that's like a moment that they like specifically say for some reason. So it's Tony and Patty Tango Torres. So that means Zachary Levi's name is Tango and Gina Rodriguez is Torres. So then he sneaks and steals the tablet so he can practice this video game, which is called Low Score, and then the new video game High Score is coming out. So he wants to play it at midnight. He goes and plays a card game where he wins a free copy of the game by cheating.
Yeah, that was weird. Right, he cheats and he's like, we have the game, can you believe that? And the sister's like, but you cheated. That's the whole message of the movie, guys, is like you should always tell the truth.
Yeah, right. Even though they like read a spy book and the spy book says
never tell the truth.
A good spy never tells the truth.
But they like redesign the whole spy lifestyle.
It's kind of good, actually, now that you guys are talking about it.
Like at the end of the movie, like they've changed their entire corporate culture. Like now spies are supposed to tell the truth. And kids are hireable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also celebrities who get canceled should get to work. they shouldn't be fired just for speaking the truth about corporate greed and how the drug companies invented COVID to stop us from
was
being
Levi.
free.
That was Levi. What did Rodriguez
And also, we should
do?
be able to say the N-word anytime we want.
I
That was Rodriguez.
remember now.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, this kid, Connor Esterson, I looked him up. Apparently, he's a big like YouTube content creator. And like
Is
his
he
number...
Fred?
Well, no, of course not.
No, he's actually he's known for listen to this. He's known for Spy Kids Armageddon. Number 2 is some movie called Chad, which I assume is like a Fred.
That's with
ripoff.
Nassim Pedrad.
Okay. Nassim Pedrad.
No, it's you remember when Nassim Pedrad was doing that TV show where she's a kid?
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
So he played a bad acting little boy on that show. Okay. And then he was also his third credit. He played himself on an episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Great.
Yeah, where I learned that he like is a guitar playing kid on YouTube. So there you go.
Look, and he also seems to star in something called The Underbed. And the cover of that is just like 5 multicultural kids with their arms crossed.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So then like they win this game, but like also the parents have this like computer program that can just like hack anything called Armageddon. And then because
it's
they
sort
download
of like
the video
you know
game,
what it's like? The fucking what's the thing in Furious Fast and Fate of the Furious?
The God's Eye.
Oh, the God's Eye.
That's good.
I would argue the God's Eye is better, but I would say Cypher probably would want Armageddon to be part of her.
Yeah.
Honestly, Cypher would make more sense as a character in the Spy Kids universe than she does in the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, she kind of ruined Fast and Furious.
I would say Cypher. I would argue that Nobody's Daughter is worse than Cypher. For sure, big time. I hate Nobody's Daughter. But
who's Nobody's? Oh, Nobody's.
Oh, Brie Larson.
Right.
Wait, who's his daughter?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
That's his daughter. Okay.
What's your beef with Brie Larson?
She sucks.
I feel like Tim's low key misogynistic. Like
that is not
the things he chooses to hate are like Brie Larson
are the last
Jedi. Yeah, it's all like the signifiers.
Oh, because of Rey. I hate those ones.
Yeah.
Well, I like Lava Girl.
Oh, that's
yeah, because she's like a sexy kid. This is like there was on Reddit there was a subreddit that had to be shut. No, there was one that had to be shut down called Back in the Day, and the pictures were all like grown up like female celebrities, no, it was called Back in Their Prime.
Oh God!
And the pictures were all of them when they were kids and shit. And
ridiculous.
Was it like Jodie Foster and Taxi Driver back in their prime?
Olsen twins, as babies in the opening of the Full House.
Yeah, or like Millie Bobby Brown in season 1 of Stranger Things.
Why is that a thing?
Because pedophiles exist.
Well, so what happened?
So it's just like a legit pedophile.
Oh, and I'm just saying that subreddit reminded me of Tim.
Yeah, well, so what? Do they just cancel your subscription to that Reddit?
Yeah, what do you do now? Do they redirect you somewhere else?
Yeah. Dan knows all about these like weird subreddits. Most Reddit users never even heard of this one, but okay, whatever.
That's not true. There was like a big campaign on the main page to get it shut down.
Bring it back.
He even brought up the second subredd too. He got it confused with the other one that he likes. Back in the day and back in their prime.
I just got the name wrong.
He exposed the other one.
Fucking hell.
No, they're gonna get that down.
Meanwhile, oh my God. Yeah, so then the king, Billy Magnuson, Magsum, whatever. He's
good in Game Night, right? That's what he's from. That's what I saw him from first.
Yeah. He's also
Billy Magnuson?
Yeah, he always brings like a different girl.
Doesn't Disney love this guy?
Yeah,
I don't
franchise
know.
all-star. He's in the Aladdin, the Will Smith Aladdin,
Yeah,
by the way.
he's the
No
one.
way.
Remember, they were gonna like spin off his character, and then everyone was like, "You're gonna spin off the only white character."
That
from
is
Aladdin?"
crazy. They should have gotten roasted for that. That is
Yeah.
that is so stupid. Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
in The Big Short. I saw him in that.
yeah. He's the best part of the whole movie. He's the only one that's like going
He played
for it.
Polly Walnuts in The Many Saints of Newark.
Oh my
And he played
God.
Robert Redford in The Offer.
He's had such a weird career. This guy.
I like
Yeah,
him.
this guy-
I really like him.
I like him too. He's funny.
So his goal is a lot like some of the.
oh, he played Kato Kalin in People
What?
vs. O.J. Simpson.
His character reminded me of Sloop or whatever the guy's name is.
You just said the same thing twice.
Sorry,
Sloop or Sloop?
Yeah, I think it's Floop. I think it's his name's actually Floop. But it's who's the Trader host?
Who's the
Alan Cummings.
traitor?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Alan
Alan
Cummings.
Cummings. I
Alan
was trying to
Cummings is
think of a host that turned against their show.
Oh well, that'd be Jeff Probst, of course. He's
Yeah, he
the
made it
traitor and
bad all of a
survivor.
sudden.
Yeah,
Yeah. I will ruin this at all costs.
Alan Cummings, who's currently being backpacked by CT right now.
I hope so.
He's the like villain from the first movie, and then ends up having a what's the opposite of a heel turn? He turns
Face
baby
turn.
face. He had a face turn, and then it turns out Mr. Monk is the real villain. I'm never gonna think of it. Tony Shalhoub
Oh.
is the real villain in Spy Kids. What? Of course,
Oh,
his
the first
character's name
Spy
is
Kids.
Minion. Yeah, I'm saying the King reminded me of this character where they're
Okay.
gonna like rehab him, and when they make the sequel to this Spy Kids,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
gonna be
'cause
back
he's-
as a helper.
Because he's clearly like the breakout adult character in this movie.
He-
Like,
he
he's the
survives this
easy
one?
MVP. And so I assume if they make another Spy Kids, like he's essential.
I hope
they'll-
his career takes off huge and he doesn't have to come back.
I kind of already thought he was too big for this.
Me
But
too,
What do I
kind of.
know?
Yeah.
Did he say some stuff that got him in trouble? Is that why he's
Not
in
that
this
I've ever
movie?
heard of.
Yeah. What's his stance on?
No, he's got a lot of stuff like in production. He's going to be in the upcoming live action Lilo and Stitch movie.
Oh my God, he's gonna play the one white guy in that movie too.
I guess so. Oh, and he's starring on
He was in the new James
Armando
Bond.
Iannucci's upcoming television show, which is, of course, called The Franchise.
Oh, my
nice. Gotta
goodness.
cover
That's
that.
awesome.
So then they get half of the code, but then it turns out they
Maybe HBO will try to buy this domain from us for the podcast of that.
you guys should be like
I
Shark
would sell
Boy.
it in one
Well,
second.
should
yeah,
be like
me too.
Shark
We'll
Boy.
cash in.
Then
you
we
guys
can
should be
just
like Shark
change it
Boy
and then
and
tell those
sue.
same people to just go listen, and they probably would.
Yeah,
would
we
just-
could change the title of the show to Franchise Fanatics, which is what Henry wanted to call it.
Oh, really? I never heard that.
Really?
That's fanatic.
Yeah.
I love that.
You guys should pull a Shark Boy and sue him though, and get a settlement.
We should just be Lord Awesome and then start uploading under Lord Awesome. See, he would never
Then we get
notice.
sued by Henry.
You never notice. Somebody would have to rat us out.
There are plenty rats
the,
that would
no,
rat
the
him out.
the drummer of Lord Awesome still listens to the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he wouldn't like that too much. Or Space Cadet Juan, he would hear word and be pissed at us, obviously.
I don't
'cause
think
he
he'd
hates
hear.
us. He would never even hear about that?
No,
Oh.
no, I guess he still follows me on Letterboxd.
Yeah, he'd probably know.
All right, what else you got on this?
I give it a
movie?
1. My MVP is Billy Magnuson. My LVP.
Wait, I didn't even finish the plot. You want the
Oh.
rest of the plot?
Oh, yeah.
So
They go
then
in the
they-
game and they fight Billy Magnuson or whatever.
So then the parents the parents get caught. So then the kids find out that their parents are spies, and then train
Dude,
as spies.
This movie looks like shit, by the way.
It looks
like
horrible.
the digital stuff. Like they clearly just like filmed it at, like that. You know how Robert Rodriguez has like a ranch with like some
Yeah,
studio
he has
space
a
on
studio
it.
in Texas. Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
studio in Texas. All his kids lived with him there.
Yeah.
And
One of his
I-
sons does the music for the movies. One of his sons
Rebel.
writes them with him. Yeah,
Rebel.
and What?
I love that it's credited Spy Kids theme written by Robert Rodriguez. And I have to say, the Spy Kids theme is the best music in this movie. Like the
Yeah, it's better than anything his fucking son wrote.
Yeah.
But yeah, the what was I talking about?
It looks
The
shitty.
ranch.
It looks horrible.
The
Oh,
fish
right.
terrible.
Yeah. Just the like, you brought up like when they get captured or whatever. And remember when they're in that prison with like the moving walls and stuff? It looks so bad. Like everything looks like a screensaver or
Well,
or
to
like
be honest,
or like the background of a school picture from the 90s. Like I don't know what's going on half the time.
to be honest, just think of all the CG and shit that we looked at in the old Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And all of that stuff was like way more like it was worse CG back then, but also it was like way more zany and colorful.
Was it worse?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely more slick, but because it's more
I
slick,
hate
it
the
has
slick,
less
though.
personality.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that makes it look worse.
Well,
Yeah,
it
it's so
is worse
flat.
overall. I don't think it looks worse. Like, honestly, it looks a lot like a Disney Star Wars show. Or
No, it
like,
doesn't. No, it
yeah,
doesn't. It looks
these
so
Disney.
much worse.
Yeah, well, I agree. It's all dark and just not fun. Like even like the shit that should be fun, like their training montage, it's just like nothing. Like nothing. Like they get hit by fly swatters, and then
Yeah.
what?
There's one moment where like Billy Magnuson is talking about how like he thinks video games peaked in the 90s and it was never no advancement ever worked. Like that's when it worked the best. Like all the graphics were at at the best for the gameplay or whatever. And it's like I was getting the sense like that's just Robert Rodriguez's philosophy. It's like he never wants
That's
to
a
learn.
stupid take. Not from you, but from him.
Yeah,
If
no, I
that's what he
agree.
thinks, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like I learned my bag of tricks in the 90s and I'm still just gonna like use the same like two things I know how to do. It's frustrating. His development as a director is so frustrating. I mean, like him and Kevin Smith from like that same era. Everyone thought they were gonna turn into like,
QT.
fucking John Cassavetes and Spielberg or something, and like both of them are just like trash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember the
instead
part
they turned
early
into
on?
Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez.
Or early on when they're like trying to sneak around the house and they're like stepping on the ground and you hear like the squeaks. Like I feel like it was that moment when I knew this was just going to be trash because
I disagree. I disagree. To me, that moment was a bright spot because I used to do that as a kid.
No. I liked the moment was fine. I mean,
the idea of trying to
effects,
map
I thought was
out
garbage.
like every squeak in the floor.
No,
of your
obviously I've
house.
done that. I thought that was really relatable.
That's
actually
great.
But the effort, like the ground never moved at all. It was just like the sound effects of the squeaks, but the squeaks didn't even match when and where they were stepping. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Here was my problem with the squeak part was Zachary Levi comes out and immediately walks over where they were just walking and it didn't squeak once. Like, why didn't they add in squeaks when he was walking over the area that they just like did their best not to squeak over? And
he's
like
mastered where not to step.
Yeah. I have to. We haven't even talked about the absolute worst adult in this movie.
Tim, before that, can I just say my favorite squeak part is in basketball.
Oh yeah, I heard your mom's going out with Squeak. This leader of the OSS, DJ Cotrona. Yeah, he fucking sucks, man. He's like, his acting makes the kids look okay. The kids are not okay. This guy, like, I'm looking. He's like Devlin. He's like the guy who's the head of the OSS who's trying to capture them, and then he's like, "Oh, we're gonna hire you." At the end, right? This guy is in fucking Shazam. He's one of the adult Shazam.
He's
guys.
got like no career except he's been in like two Shazam movies and the From Dusk Till Dawn TV show that Robert Rodriguez did for his own network, you know? And so
Jeez.
like like this was the perfect storm for him to get this role. It's like the only two people he knows in Hollywood are Robert Rodriguez and Zachary Levi.
So I'm glad he got it, but he should not be in any talking roles. They used him better in Shazam when he didn't like speak or whatever, right? Like I don't even know which kid. I mean, obviously he's the Hispanic kid. Wait, is he the fat kid who turns into the? Like, I think he's the fat Shazam kid who then, like, did you see that second Shazam, Dan?
Fury
No,
of the Gods.
Oh, you'll watch it eventually.
I'm sure I will. I watched The Flash the other day.
Well,
Oh my god.
you watch Blue Beetle also. I mean, why not? Why not?
I'm catching up on all my bullshit.
Yeah.
crazy.
Meanwhile, Dan's like, I hate all superhero stuff. I guess I'll watch the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And then the Spy Kids beat the guy at the end because he gets the kid dies in the duel, but then he gets, for no apparent reason, he gets the one punch ability, and kills the king that way for no reason. They establish it early on in the movie, and then it comes back. Of course, that's like
because he played the video game so fiercely.
Yeah. Oh, because he decided not to be a rat like the character that he was. He was going to be honest, and so he chose to be honest.
That fucking monologue where he's like, "That's why I choose to play as myself." It's like one of the worst delivered kid monologues ever. He goes like, "But what I learned is that character would do anything to win, and that's why I'm gonna play as myself." Like, it really is like that stilted and awful.
It's worse. You could not help but do it better than what that kid did, to be honest. Like, you had charisma and you like doing the little kid voice. He is just like, he's got nothing. He's horrible. They're all horrible. Everybody in this is horrible except the king. So yeah. And then they win, and then they become then the OSS is like, well, you're welcome back at the OSS. And he's like, but I mean all four of you. And then oh, they're all spies now.
No, he goes, and let me show you to your desks. All your desks.
All four desks.
All four desks. And then Zachary Levi goes, all four desks.
Yeah. And the Troublemaker Studio credit comes up, and we're like, fuck yeah, Rebel and Racer.
30
Hell
years
yeah.
of Troublemaker. Congratulations. Yeah.
So Spy Kids Armageddon.
It was really bad. It's not a good use of time.
No. I give it a 1. MVP Billy Magnuson. LVP. Who's the LVP?
Yeah, how do you pick an LVP? There's so many LVPs.
I might go Zachary Levi. He annoyed me the most, probably.
Oh, come on.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. All right.
What was up with his face? Like, he had too much makeup on his face.
He had too much work on his face because he did, well, he didn't take the vaccine. So maybe it's like a COVID.
That's what's
effect.
gray in them temples.
Yeah. He's got long COVID going on. It's like addling his brain and prematurely aging him.
Yeah. I'll go Zach Levi. Sorry.
Hey, Logan, speaking of COVID, did you ever take any more tests?
No, not since the 2 that I took on the same day that I should not have done.
I have laughed so many times just thinking of you like speed running COVID tests as fast as possible.
I didn't know. I always heard that you can get a false positive and false negative, so you're supposed to take 2 of them. I didn't know it was supposed to be like days apart.
Yeah,
or a day apart.
Pretty good. And I just will be laughing. I'll be driving and just think of like you like shoving 2 Q-tips up both nostrils at the same time so you could do them both at the same time.
I didn't quite do that. I waited like 30 minutes.
So good. Dan gave it a 1 also. I gave it a 1 also.
Yeah.
My MVP is Billy Magnuson, and my LVP will go to DJ Cotrona as Devlin, the adult. At least the kids are kids. Like,
no, I'll be the fucking one to do it. My LVP is the kids.
You got to pick
both of
one.
them.
Yeah,
You gotta
both
pick one.
of them.
Pick one.
If I had to
Obviously,
pick
the boy
one,
is
the
worse.
girl.
No
the girl is
way.
worse? Oh my gosh.
No, the
Fucking
girl.
annoying.
Poor
She was
Everly.
better. I know what the rule book says, but you have to tell the truth.
Yeah. I think the one moment that wasn't horrible was where like the parents are telling the story of like Project Fireball or Operation Fireball, and then we see like they're telling it without, and they're leaving out that like, oh yeah, we kicked everybody's asses, and then we see it, and then the girl's like, well, you could have done this, and like, and then you see them do it like by giving hugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, they're like, let's try it their way, and then they like compliment the robots, and the robots are like, okay, I guess we won't kill you. We didn't talk about the robots at all. Do you guys care about these robots?
No, they're
No.
cartoons. Like, I mean, there's no effort put in at all.
But why?
Like, that show Reboot from the 90s looked better than this.
Yeah, Beast Wars as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's that meme where people are like, the government faked 9/11 or whatever, and then they like, here's graphics from the same year, and it's like they show reboots of what CGI looked like back then, and it's like, yeah, okay, it's not good. Yeah, I get it. Well, I mean, are there any more segments to this? What Ryder Strong thing?
Nobody's seen this fucking thing. I think I was the first person
Ryder Strong thing.
Nobody saw it. You're the only people that I know.
Is that true?
Eric Striffler saw it. I know who that is. I don't think you guys do, but he didn't even do anything about
Stifler? It. Wait, Stifler who saw it?
No.
Listener
Striffler.
Cam Smith watched it for his own podcast.
Wow, what did he think about it?
Whoa.
He has a podcast about spy movies.
Only spy movies? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Has he covered all the other ones? I assume so.
I think so. I mean, yeah. Why would he be covering?
Imagine this is the first Spy
new.
Kids he saw.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, it's not that hard to imagine that. You just be like, "Well, this is terrible."
I follow someone called Simeon Jimmy, and they gave it 1 star, and they said, "I'm wasting my life watching shitty movies," and it has like 15 likes.
I feel the same way sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta watch some good movies though, Simmy and Jimmy.
You want to know what else Simeon Jimmy has watched recently?
Yeah. What are his 4 favorites also?
His 4 favorites are Back to the Future 2, Interstellar, A Ghost Story, and he has, wow, this is interesting. He has Nathan For You, Finding Francis. That's the finale of the Nathan For You show. Recent
he
activity.
Knows all about Door City, right?
Oh my gosh. His 4 most recent are Elvira's Haunted Hills, gave 2 stars. He watched Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox. He gave 3.5 stars. This is a halfer person. Then he watched Justice League War. Gave that, it's an animated DC thing, 2.5 stars. And then watched Barb and Star Go to Del Mar.
I mean, can you imagine how ridiculous that is to watch as something as inconsequential as a Justice League cartoon, and to be like, I can't decide whether this is a 2 or a 3. I must go half. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. That's
you have graders. I hope you just felt so dumb about yourselves.
But on your scale, 3 is between like 3. It was what their 2.5 might be. You know, because it's like between.
Yeah, but you have to be definitive and choose. Like, you have to be like, is this a fucking 2 or is this a 3? Right? Like,
yes.
Why?
And
I think there are 2 completely different ways to see it, and I don't think you guys even consider the other way.
The other way is I want to do a 10-point scale. And so I'm adding half.
Right.
So
Which
then
I
just
think
do
is
it
then
out
you
of
might
10.
as well. Then you might as well be one of these weirdos that like starts their review with like the number 76, and you're like, it's a 76 out of 100. Like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is that?
I don't like those, but these people aren't saying that they can't choose between a 2 and a 3, so they're like, 2.5. They're saying that their scale is they're saying a 5 is a 10, basically. So 2.5 would be a 5, which is the same as your 3 out of 5 being in the middle. That's the same as what they're doing, basically.
Yeah, but that 3 is weighted way more than a 5 out of 10, right? Like it's it's in the middle. It's like I always tell, because I force my class to do a 5-point scale when they review movies, and they all hate it. They all think they all hate it because none of them
What would
want
they
to be
rather do?
definitive. They would rather do out of 10, or I just say, well, then what if you give like why not do it out of 100 then? Why not 1,000,000 stars? Why don't you give me like 800,000 out of 1,000,000? Like whatever. Like so then I always say, like, think of it this way. Uh, 1 is terrible, awful, dog shit. It's Spy Kids Armageddon. 2 is I didn't really like it. Maybe there's some good things, but didn't like it. 3 is it's fine. It's maybe even good, but it's just fine. 4 is it's good. I liked it. And then 5 is like, this is a fucking masterpiece. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really simple.
It's easy if
I'm
you
not
think of it
disagreeing
that
with
way.
yours.
And then sometimes you have to be like, oh man, is this a masterpiece? Did I love it? Like, would I watch? And I always say, like,
I mean,
4s
what
and
the
5s
fuck
are
is a
watch
2.5? It's not good, but it's not good.
Yeah. Oh, it just needed Justice League War. If Batman only like used his utility belt 30% more, I could have given it
Maybe
that extra
there
half.
was a time in the movie where he should have used it but didn't,
Well, I'm
and
going to
that's
tell
a
you right
big
now,
problem.
I
with
watched
them.
Justice League War. By the way, I've seen this. It's from 2014. By the way, Simi and Jimmy's review is the Snyder Cut reigns supreme.
Why are we talking about Timmy and Jimmy?
Why not? I
It's
mean,
a real episode.
you talk about Space Cadet Juan. I mean, and he's not even a literal listener anymore.
Yeah.
It's Timmy and Jimmy.
No, this is a random person.
Why do I follow Simi and Jimmy?
I thought this was a random review you saw that had like 12 likes on this movie.
No, this is someone I followed.
I
wow.
don't know who Timmy and Jimmy is.
I don't either.
I follow, and it says followed by Alec Greer, who I think is a listener, right? Or
Alec
why do I
Greer?
follow?
I don't think I know who that
Alec
is.
I don't know who that is.
Followed by 12 others I know.
Oh my goodness.
None of you guys, but definitely some listeners follow. I don't know how I got to this person, but Simi and Jimmy, you should add when Ryder Strong and Henry and
Andy. I should add him to the list. What did
add
Simi and Jimmy think?
Jimmy. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty good.
Tim, remember when we found that letterbox account on the Freebird?
Animated Antic or whatever?
The Freebird guy. Can we find that person?
I follow him still.
I do too.
I think it's Animated Antics or something like that.
Animated Antics, yes. Oh my god, that was so good. And like all the reviews are like turkey related, right?
Animated Antic. Their 4 favorites: Up, Beauty and the Beast, The Secret of Nim, and The Iron Giant.
No. What's their
I
latest
don't think
movie they
that's
reviewed?
who I'm talking about.
Renaissance. I don't know what this is.
Is that not? I thought it was an account called Freebird.
It's called like Freebird guy.
Oh, so this is the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hang on. I'll find it. Because
It's
I
fine.
definitely follow this guy.
I don't know.
Letterboxd is pretty bad at finding
Freebirds
people.
fan. I found it. Okay.
Freebird, yes.
Yeah, his only favorite is Freebirds. He's watched 3 movies.
Oh, and the third one's
This
great.
is the
Remember?
greatest account in Letterboxd history.
What are you talking about?
It is. I remember this. This is so good. Freebird's fan. In fact, I was re-listening to. Go ahead, tell Logan. He doesn't remember.
How do you spell Freebirds, fan?
Okay. Hang on. Okay, so first he watched Freebirds. It's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic. If this movie was a person, I would give them all my Reddit gold.
Oh, I follow them. Wow.
Okay. Second review, Casino Royale. 1 star. Shit ass movie. Charles has a gambling addiction. Hashtag boring as fuck. Hashtag fuck you, Charles.
Here's Charles.
I don't even know.
Is that like his uncle who ruined his life because of his gambling addiction? Fuck you,
Okay.
Charles.
And then he watched a movie from 2014 called A Free Bird. And he gave it half a star. And the review is fucking scam. Hashtag not free birds too.
And then he doesn't make sense.
So funny to me.
This is like literally, you could go back and listen to the We Love Kids movie. This is literally what happened that time too.
But that was July 6th, 2020. We haven't seen him since. They follow one person. Oh, they follow one person named Charles. Is this
Oh my
Charles?
god.
Charles Collier. I think we gotta follow Charles.
Oh wait, what did Charles get? What did Charles give Casino Royale?
It's a good question. Let me go look
He
it
must
up.
be the mastermind behind the Freebirds fan account.
Charles gives it Casino Royale a 5 and the heart. So they really disagree on that.
They didn't review. No review. Like
No
I
review.
love I love the gambling. They were very realistic.
I gave the Nun 2 3 stars.
Yeah, that's wild.
You probably got to follow Charles too. I mean, if he's
I
the
did.
Freebirds fan,
He doesn't review stuff though.
No.
what you're following Freebirds fan? They literally haven't reviewed another movie. I think it's so funny. Freebirds, fucking fantastic. 5 stars.
They reviewed
Oh
some
my
things.
god.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, I'm
Great
ready
episode.
to go.
Well, I thought we were going to record something after this, D-Train.
Oh, are we doing that?
I want to. It'll only have to be like 30 minutes or so.
Really?
You don't want to do that? Maybe shorter. We're just going to be ranking.
But it's
the
on
deaths.
video, isn't it?
It's like my screen. I'm going to be recording my screen.
Just your screen. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Are we still recording the episode? Is
Yeah,
this
but
still
we're
in
ending. We're ending, right?
Oh, I did want to say we recorded the 4th installment of Hubie Halloween. If you're not is that a Patreon show? That's
Yeah.
a Patreon only show, right?
It's We Love Kids movies.
Yeah, we watched Hubie Halloween once a year for the last 4 years, and we covered it again. And I thought this year's was very funny. We tell a very good story about the bloopers involving Shaq that I think that, is a highlight of this year. So, and you can, if you listen to them all, get ready to hear the same stuff again and again. We repeat multiple
But we'll get
times.
guests next year, right?
I don't know. Let's not promise a guest. It's a bigger disappointment when they
Okay.
don't show up. So maybe
We
we
get a
can
different
get.
guest.
Let's reach out
Let's get
to
Alice.
Freebirds fan. And if we can book that guy, maybe we
Oh
watch
my
Freebirds
god.
every
Can
Thanksgiving.
I would love that.